Hello and welcome. I've been searching the internet and came across this page. It's all about climate change, hoax of the century. I'm going to read it out for you because I think it's going to be in two parts. It's such a long thing. Therefore, hold on. So I'm going to have the link down below, somewhere down there. Anyway, off we go. Carbon dioxide, a beginning life. We've given molecule has been miscast by a worldwide politician movement to be an environment hazard, that in what will soon be discovered to be the hoax of the century. This molecule, CO2, is vital to all life on Earth. It is exhaled by all living things. It even comes from nocturnal emissions by plants. It forms the bubbles in your soda, wine and beer. Standard air has 370 parts per million ppm of carbon dioxide, of which 93% comes from natural sources, which all beyond human control. These sources include decomposition of organic matter, exhaling by living things, and volcanic events, which is by far the greatest atmosphere source. The climate change hoax is based on faulty science from two things. First, ice cores from Greenland and Antarctica, if you please, from thousands of years of this deposit are measured for CO2 content in the air at the time the snow layer was deposited, and the thickness of the ice layers. Is the thickness of these snowfalls layers is then assumed to be an indication of global temperature. There are numerous errors in this assumption, which have been presented in a more technical analysis or whatever you pronounce it. Anyway, but for now, pretended that this evidence is true. The hoaxes then show graphs over time which are near perfect of CO2 levels and snow thickness, and by implicating its temperature. The second of proof of human-caused global warming is the global climate module, which is available to all at Wikipedia. But by their own admission, this module was developed for short-range weather forecast, and we all know how accurate that is. Now, what was I? This formula has 100 parameters, each with its own coefficient and exponent or whatever. Anyway, by manipulating these numbers, the hoaxers are able to prove that an increase of CO2 will rise with temperature, The world concept of greenhouse gas is absurd. The Earth receives a full spectrum of electromagnetic radiation by day, but by night only a portion, the infrared stored on the surface, is radiated back into space. There is no gaseous one-way control of this energy. The atmospheric gases can absorb or reflect some of this energy, but can not increase the income amount. Carbon dioxide is a 3-atom molecule that cannot possibly determine that all radiation should be allowed in by day, but none can escape by night. Consider the insulation or radiant barrier in your room's attic. The radiant barrier bounces solar radiant energy away from your living room space in the summer and bounces radiation energy trying to exit back into your house in the winter. Insulation does the same thing with convected energy, keeping heat out in summer and heat during winter. The atmosphere behaves the same way. To claim that any gas, whether CO2, methane or otherwise, can simulate allow energy in by day and block energy by night is absurd. To think that the hoax's claim of a change in 10 parts per million of CO2 molecules could affect the Earth's climate in any way. This change in 10 parts in any way is insane. If CO2 had these miracle properties, then all double pane glass panels would be filled with CO2, and then the magic molecules would work like ventilation blinds, allowing full heat by day and none loss at night. In fact, greenhouse gas cannot block radiation heat loss at night, but only a fraction of convection heat loss is trapped by the physical glass part in part 1. Part 2. If you Google the last glacier maximum, you'll see maps of thousands of square miles of ice and the ocean level over 400 feet below current levels. All of this ice melted in 100 years. There is no evidence that humans caused this, so what we must look for the force that could cause this change. The Earth does not rotate in a circle around the Sun, but rather in an ellipse, varying out distance between 91 and 93 million miles. Because of this, we receive a 4% change in solar radiation every year, but this has no effect on Earth's climate. Our seasons are the result of the planet's 23-degree axis of rotation. Our summer occurs when we are the furthest from the Sun. The southern hemisphere as summer when the opposite globe season. Based on this fact, even a 10% change in solar activity would have a negative effect. A 10% change is beyond any observed solar cycle. The Earth crosses a 10 to 20 miles thick layer of solid rock that floats on 7,000 miles of molten rock. Gravity cannot provide the pressure necessary to melt this much rock. What causes this rock to melt and the Earth to have massive periodic climate changes is the irregular decay of uranium in our Earth's core. For a more technical analysis of this Earth warming force has been presented to members of Congress and scientific peer review, but for this presentation just consider two elements that only occur from nuclear reaction. Hang on, miss a few elements that result from this uranium decay. Radon, the radioactive gas. Reaction can only occur reaction gas we are warned. The radioactive gas we are warned about constantly can result from this. Can only occur from nuclear reaction and has a half-life of 3.8 days. 1 pound container of radium would only weigh 1/8 of an ounce in just 23 days. The fact that radon is the health hazard is proof of its daily production. Helium, another inert element, is 8 times lighter than air, and all helium released on Earth is lost to outer space in just a matter of minutes. Helium does not come from the breakdown of any compound, but only from nuclear reaction. It occurs in natural gas deposits in just a few locations on Earth. The geonuclear energy that melts our core and creates these gases is also the greatest variable in the Earth's climate. This geonuclear energy is at present beyond human control or understanding. It is most convenient for the hoaxers to neglect this greatest variable in climate change from the Defense Climate Module. The graphic match of CO2 and ice core layer thickness, Earth temperature, is also matched by the amount of ash in the layer. When volcanic energy is released, it produces large amounts of heat and ash and CO2. Blaming CO2 climate change is like saying ashes cause fire. CO2 is the effect of heat, not the cause. Our democracy depends on information considered consent. And informed should not be limited to lies told by a political movement when the full scoop of the scientific affairs involved in the hoaxes are exposed, and everyone will realize this has been the greatest foul since if flat earth theory we deserve a real debate. In this case the truth will be very inconvenient. Until next time.